Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guy. Today in this video, we're going to be going through the charts with TLRY, HEXO, and CRONOS, and VLNS. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, don't be shy. Subscribe. Be part of the journey on the channel. I also want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment and information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything I talk about. Buy or sell after you did your own research, due diligence, and you like the investments you're pursuing. So today was a very hot market for cannabis. Very, very hot. You see TLRY is up 11.7%. So I'm going to get to TLRY and HEXO's chart, and I'm going to talk about where to look for. And then we're going to get to CRONOS and VLNS, which are the golden opportunities. I think those charts look a lot more attractive, less resistance. But again, if the sector pulls hard, they can all kind of start to lag CRONOS and VLNS, I think. So and they could go push harder based on different news and stuff. But regardless, I'm not going to talk about news in this channel today. I'm just going to look at the charts. So in TLRY, we're at 1737. So the bottom was around 1521. It looks as though there's a kind of a trend reversal. So this was the T line. It kind of hits the T line. Then now it's on the bullish side, of the Bollinger Band. So I mean, kind of looks like it wants, it's got to stay around $18 or whatever. Like the Bollinger Band's got to go up there, or else it's going to get above the Bollinger Bands. If it starts running up to like $19, it's going to be outside the Bollinger Band. So I mean it can stay above the Bollinger Bands, but you just like look, even if you're going down, like if you were to do a short on TLRY, right, when you get inside the Bollinger Bands, look, it just went up, right? So that would be the time to cover, right? Whereas, and then when it's like up above, that's the time to sell if you're following the Bollinger Band patterns, right? So that's a really thing to look into with the TLRY for tomorrow. But I mean, they're a big high flyer as far as volume goes. They had 5 million shares pretty much traded, so that's about $85 million of value. So a lot of institutional money flooding into TLRY. And basically based on, I think, the Ontario kind of getting set up and Alberta having more having edibles maybe today or tomorrow, and new CEO from Canopy Growth, as well as Afria earnings, and just it's time, right? It's time. Money's been flooding into their TFSAs and RSPs, I believe, and that the algo's probably going to start running with it. They run down, but then they're going to run up. But as far as like TLRY, there's a little bit of resistance and stuff, and I don't really like the chart on HEXO too much. This is on the daily. It is coming up from the bottom of about $1.70 in USD. This is, I think it's in USD. It's in Canadian funds. Wow, it's gone down so much. So $1.76, so about $2, and then somewhere around here like $2.28 is the middle of the T line. So I mean, I think it can definitely hit that. So that would be 20-30 cents, right? On that's a 10-15% gain if you hit the T line. Something to look into. But I mean, it's probably going to gap open if Afri does good earnings. So I mean, that could just be like a big spike up and then come down and then just like start to, but I just don't really like the chart because like it's coming up to 3. That would be a double, but I just think that there's going to be resistance come to that part. I'd like to see the channel of the Bollinger Band start to really open up and widen and go up to like 4th, and then just like start riding up harder. But I mean, it's going to take time. There's more work that needs to be done on the Bollinger Bands with HEXO. So that's just the reality of things. And I don't think it can't go up high. Like if it goes to 330 like it is on the weekly, that's like a 60-70% gain or something, right? So it's nothing to scoff at. I'm just saying, as far as like going back to its like all-time highs, it's got a lot of work to do. $10, it's got a lot of work to do, a lot of months. Like these are in months, so it needs a lot of work to get back to $6, $7, $8. But I think by the end of the year, I think there's going to be some momentum as far as their products getting launched and how well they're doing. I think the beverage market could be a 500 million market based on about 2 billion recreational market. I mean, maybe that's high, maybe it's only 20%, so 400 million, but I think if Hexo does 25% of that, that's 100 million, or if it's on 500 million, 125 million, and that's just like coming out in 2020. Come 2021, 2022, it's a different story. The numbers should get a lot bigger by then, so that's something to think about. And yeah, that's just the reality of things. But I mean, they need to sell more. Like they need to have edible products as well, and vapes and stuff, and get some penetration in those markets. They can't just solely rely just on the beverages, unless they were able to get in the USA and be a dominant force across the whole USA. Then that's a different story. But they are working on like getting their Hexo CBD. I think it's like in USA, their Hexo USA. So I think they want to get into shelves for their CBD products. So like maybe I don't know what they have to offer, but I think that's a big focus in before the summertime. So I'd like to see that. That could really push a lot of catalysts into Hexo, especially down at about $2 or something, when this has been as high as about like 11.29. So it's really the reality of things. So that's Hexo Corp. And then now we're looking into CRON. So I bought stock back here around like in this red. And I wasn't looking at the daily. I was looking at like 15-30 minutes, right? When you're doing like a swing or like a daily to like a 2 to 3 day trade, it's better to just look at 30 to 40, like 30 to an hour, or 15 minutes, or even 5 minutes, when you're trying to predict where the movements in the stock. Because when you're looking on the daily, there's just too much variability, too vague. But if you're looking at like a long-term swing trade, you look at the daily, and then you're like, okay, you see this doji below the Bollinger Bands, and you feel the company's not going to go bankrupt right there. So you can ride that from, this is Chronos. Obviously, they're not going to go bankrupt. They got 1.6 billion in cash. But like right here would be the perfect opportunity, and I got in the day after, and I wrote it up. And then maybe this is on the weekly, actually. No, it's on the daily. But I did buy it. Maybe it was this day. I know I bought it about 883 and a half, and then I sold it at 925, I believe. And then I re-entered at about like 890, I think, and then I sold it today at 975. So I do think there is upside in Chronos, don't get me wrong, but I think there's, I think it should probably start going up to 10, but it needs to. There's this resistance point right here at 1035. I just don't think it's setting up as good to go ballistic versus my golden goose for the cannabis stock. I mean, I can't say enough great things about them. I've been talking about them for over 6-7 months, and I've been saying how those profit margins are way better than MetaPharm Labs, way better. So they're going to, when their revenues increase, they're just going to have so much net income. Now they're in a crazy predicament, which no other company in the space is in this predicament, but they have so much cash coming in, they don't know what to do with it. So what they're doing with it is they're going to be buying back their shares, because they think that that's the best use of their money. So if they take shares off, they take 6 million shares off, then that makes it way harder for shorters, and it makes it way it just makes it way tighter of a float, and then it can run up harder. And like if they buy like say like 1,000 shares in a day, that's like a lot of volume added to it. Like 550,000. If they were to buy 500,000 shares today, and take them off, then the stock price would go like to 380, 390, 395. So when they buying 6 million shares off, I can't see the stock not going up 50% from where it's at right now. Same, like, I'm not saying Chronos can't go to $15. I think it can, but I think it's easier, I think, for this stock to go to like $5 than it is for Chronos to go to $15. But I mean, I think they're gonna have big moves both. I don't think it's bad to be in Chronos. I just think that my money, I feel better having it back. I bought it at 363, yeah, like close to the high of the day. But at the same time, I know Afri earnings are coming out, so I'm just gonna play with it. I mean, whether it hits $4 and I see like a big wick outside the Bollinger Band, then I will get out of the position. But I'm trying to be very disciplined in my trading rituals, because that's the way to, sustain yourself. So I'm playing with only the best companies in the space. Only playing with only the best companies in space, right? I mean, you got like 300, 400,000, 400 companies in the space. You can pick stocks that are like 0.005, but they really offer like no value. There's nothing of substance that's going to add that this company is going to be a global leader. So I want to have global leaders, right? Like companies like VLNS and companies like Labs and companies like CRON and companies like HEXO and companies like TLRY. I mean, I think excluding HEXO, they all have great opportunities to have like global leadership, be really strong. And Tilray's already shown it. Chrono's shown it. Labs wants to do the Germany stuff, and Valens hasn't really said too much, but I think they're gonna be in the later half of 2020, if not before. They're gonna be, I think just with that, all the products, like all the development and SKUs that they can do, I don't think they have a problem getting partnerships across different countries. So I look at it, yeah, it's at the weekly. The top is like 380. So yeah, you're buying it high. I mean, but at the same token, there's a doji and it keeps going, and then we're gonna see Afria's earnings, and I think there's gonna be a lot of hype. Now I already have a pretty good position out at about 307, and this I'm just adding to it. Yeah, I'm going pretty big in balance for my size of a portfolio, but I feel good about the company, and I just know those profit margins are amazing. So anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about. Tilray, Hexo, Chronos, Valens, and yeah, there was other companies that were up today. Organigram, GW Pharma, TrueLeaf, Namaste, Valens. So when I say TrueLeaf is actually an interesting company. I do own shares in this company, and they're a pet food company, but they're not able to make pet food for CBD for pets, but they do make hemp pet food. So they're and they're out in the Okanagan, out in Vernon, and you got High Tide moving on up for 24 cents. Harvest One going up to 16. Canopy Rivers going up to 129. And Medman going to 66. Medman's just funny. I don't know. If it went to $2, it'd probably sell. Still be a loss, but I don't know. I just don't like the company. IPR, yeah, coming on up. Aurora Cannabis, a little bit up in the end of the day. So if you guys would have gone hunting for the bottom, I'd bought 96, then sell it at 210, 215. That would be a decent 5-10% profits on that. Meta Farms up 3%, Village Farms up a little bit, Tilt Holdings up a little bit, 2.8. CV Science is up 2%. GRWG, Grow Generation, I haven't been talking about. They've been quiet. I wish you could do call options on GRWG. I know you can on Zyme, so Zyme's definitely an interesting opportunity. If the biopharma just really starts ripping, I could easily see this stock go to $10, $15. You do a call option on a $5 strike, good for 3 months. You could make some pretty decent cash. Again, it could just stay there, and you could lose all your options contract value. So that's pretty much what I want to say. Anyways, keep compounding your info, listen to my lingo, and shaka, cut, peace. I'm out.